going, everyone? Welcome back to the show. Happy Thursday out there. We've got an exciting one today. We have Crypto7 coming on the show talking about Interpol, RH, the second debate in this debate season that I hope we're warming up to. Really fun stuff. I love having people come on and talk about their position and just really having a forum for people to discuss these ideas, whether you agree with them or not. And all that stuff. I really feel like the ability to discuss them, have the conversations is the best thing about this. So I'm very excited for this one. Planned it a few days ago. I was actually talking to Somi about a PDI debate, and then Crypto7 was like, hey, a debate show on Interpol and tech prices and stuff. And I'm like, that's actually interesting. Okay, I like that. So I added it to the list as well. And here we are. So look at that, having conversations and discussing important topics and a lot of fun. So I'm very excited for it. I'm going to try to, I don't know why streaming on X isn't working right now for some reason. Very strange. Don't think it's ever happened, but you may only be able to see this on YouTube. Maybe YouTube exclusive, that and Twitch apparently. But without further ado, welcome to the show for the first time, Crypto7. How's it going?
Yes, it is the first time, buddy. Warm welcome to RHMax's show. And I see I've got quite a lot of my subscribers over already. So that's great. Subscribe to RHMax. Good to see you, buddy.
Welcome. I'm glad that we had a green room conversation to prep a little bit and talk and wanted to start a little bit too before we get into all the topics and again what we agree on, because some of these points, these are very interesting and nuanced points as well. And I know everyone in the community is going to have different opinions, and I'm sure obviously you have different ones than me. And even if I have, even in these debates, I can really see both sides, but again, I want to take the side of the side that we've of it doing. We'll get into it, but I'm going to take the other side on this piece on the Interpol. But before we do, what's crypto looking like to you, man? Like what do you feel like? I know you did a stream earlier as well. How's things looking out there in PulseCo and crypto?
Well, that's why I'm doubly excited tonight. I'm excited to be streaming with you, and it'll be good to have a fun debate. As you say, you're taking one side, I'm taking the other. It'll be a lot of fun, and in the end, everyone will realize I'm right. But no, I'm also massively excited about where we are with crypto, because where we are with crypto is we're at all-time high for Bitcoin, but this time we're in disbelief. And the last time we were at all-time high, we were in extreme greed. So effectively, we've got a massive runway of disbelief, hope, optimism, belief, thrill, euphoria. This is effectively our sentiment runway, which is going to get us life-changing gains. It's going to get us to Monaco. It's going to get all the guys' girlfriends, the girls' boyfriends, whatever you want, but there's only two sexes, guys. But this is the runway ahead of us. So this is very different to the last time we saw 110K Bitcoin, because this time, we are barely in greed. We've got barely anyone looking for Bitcoin, although as we showed on Crypto7, please subscribe. You can find me by typing Crypto7. And what we showed was that people are starting to look for Bitcoin, and that's the first step in the process. But things are looking really good. A couple of things were making me a bit nervous on the macro side. We've had the Moody downgrade, which shocked the markets a little bit. And then on top of that, we've had issues with the financing bonds and things in the US, and I'm pleased to see that Nasdaq's looking really good. In fact, as we're chatting, it's up 0.83 currently, so that's really good. And because that is important, this link between Nasdaq and crypto. So I'm very, very bullish. I think the next few months are going to be incredibly good. And so long as you're uncomfortably invested in Hex and PulseChain now, that should be enough for you. If the next few months isn't enough for you, then you're not sufficiently uncomfortably invested. If you're going on holiday with the family, if you're going on a nice holiday this summer with the family, then you're a terrible parent and you've got your priorities all wrong, because what you should be doing is saying to the kids, you're going to be having an adventure holiday in the back garden this year, kids. You're going to be in a tent, and you should be taking that $15,000 and putting it into Hex and PulseChain, because there won't be another chance like this. This is your last chance. Because in the next bull market, Bitcoin will be over 20 years old. Everybody will be in, every bank, every insurance company, every pension fund, every institution. Everyone's going to be in. So don't tell me you're going to be early in the next bull market, because you're not going to be. So this is your last swing. I would love to have played baseball if I was in America. This will be your last swing of the baseball club. There's only one last swing. You've got to get this right, guys. You've got to get this right. You got to get a home run, and you've got to be in the right cryptos. And the Hex and PulseChain are top of my list. Top of my list.
I'm excited for to get another 10,000x. I think what Hex did before is amazing. Whatever the final number is, I know Glory's on the horizon. So I'm very excited. I'm glad to see you're very excited about it as well.
Very excited.
Real quick, sorry, technical difficulties. I'm going to refresh. I'm going to give me 45 seconds. I'll be right back. I'm going to see if, because X's streaming is still not working, and that's annoying. So I'm going to try this. I'll be right back.
Yeah, no problem. So, yeah, as I say, I'm massively bullish, and it's crazy because I don't think the mainstream media are talking about Bitcoin yet, or they should be. Tonight, tomorrow, you'll start to see that. We're seeing Ethereum performing really well today, guys. I think it's up 6.5% today, and so this is the process which is going to get us all to. Right. Well, if you're not streaming to Twitter, then you're going to have more subscribers, so it's a win-win situation.
There we go. Exclusively on apparently Twitch and YouTube. Facebook's not working either, which that's okay. But all right, Exico, come over to YouTube. I just tweeted it out as well.
Yeah, Crypto Jack 3 says, smash the like and subscribe. Yeah, buddy.
Chat's going off. I don't know. Maybe you take a break every once in a while in the debate and get to chat as well. They may have some interesting things to riff on. But yeah, appreciate you, chat. We're gonna catch up with you in just a little bit. Appreciate all the comments and fun stuff. But yeah, so as far as the topic, again, I'll let me pull up real quick.
Have we got enough likes? Have we got enough likes before we start the sexy topic? Has everyone liked? Has everyone subscribed to RHMax?
If you wanna ask him, feel free. That's something that is kind of I take as implicit, probably a weakness I have as a content creator. I don't like to repeat myself all the time, but you can keep it up for me today. That'd be great. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Although we do have very different styles, but I think that's nice, isn't it? And maybe we'll end up complementing each other like strawberries and champagne.
Those two tend to go together. I agree on that for sure. Yeah, I just wanted to bring it. Man, why can't I find the deal real quick? There we go. So I'll put this on the screen. So just give everyone a recap too of the. So I was talking to Somi, asking if you want to debate the pegging on the PDI, and then Seven pops in. Happy to debate you on the importance of the red notice being resolved and how we won't get to sack prices without it. So again, I just want to frame at least the beginning of the debate and the different pieces that we have here of the Interpol. I know we can talk about like maybe that'd be great too. Could you give people just a like what is the Interpol thing? Like what happened there? Like why does anyone care about that?
Yeah, sure. Well, I'll just answer that in the way I've got it lined up in my little brain, if that's okay. So basically, that's right. Thanks for providing the background to your viewers. And I'm not surprised Somi bottled out of the debating the pegging. That was a cute little joke. I couldn't resist. I'm not surprised he wasn't brave enough to accept your challenge on PDI. But we move on. We're not here to talk about PDI, guys. Don't worry. We're here, not mainly. We're here mainly to talk about the Interpol red notice. So here's the situation, guys. Get yourself comfortable. You're going to enjoy this. This is going to be the best stream since Richard Hart last live stream. So the Interpol red notice is holding us back immeasurably, okay? The Interpol red notice is holding us back immeasurably. And when we get to the end of this debate and you've said, oh yeah, Crypto 7 won it, you're going to see what I mean. So when I say that, half the hexagons and pulsicons think, oh no, that's terrible. And the other half think, oh, that means we're going to do even better. And that half are right. It's the optimistic half, the positive half that go, oh, okay. So if we were the biggest bubble a few days ago and you're saying we're being held back immeasurably, that's right. We're going to do even better, much, much better when the red notice is removed. And that is right. So that's the first thing I want to say is because some of my subscribers have been messaging me and saying, Crypto 7, stop talking about the red notice. Nobody knows about it. You're going to upset the retail. And now that we have got the SEC off the table, and now that we are getting quite close to altcoin season, banana zone, the period when people get a bit more risk appetite, I can tell you the truth. And without upsetting people too much, if I told people this a few months ago, then it would have been crushing for people, and probably people would believe me, and then people would be very upset and maybe leave the ecosystem. But now I can tell you the truth is that we're doing okay with the red notice, but without it, it's a whole different proposition.
So why does it matter in the first place, though? I mean, that's what is the red notice versus SEC?
So we're going back that far, are we? We should have got nuclear herbs on it. Well, I mean, basically, the background is that the Finnish government aren't balancing their books, and so they are trying to coerce Richard Hart. This is my understanding of it. Try to put it in layman speak. They're trying to coerce Richard Hart into paying them $400 million or something, and which would obviously help them to balance their books nicely. And they're coming up with this, Interpol can be induced to advertise, and this person is supposedly wanted. And also there's been this link to a supposed accused assault that happened some time ago, I believe. But
none of it makes any sense, by the way.
That's right. None of it makes any sense. But let me just do it my way, and then I can cover all that. And I mean, I think probably all your subscribers, because they're all very clever and they probably know all about the red notice anyway. So I'm not sure who we'd be talking to with that. So let's just do it the way I was going to do it. So currently, there's two big reasons why the red notice. There's two big. Can you, by the way, just say something now so I can tell this is still working?
Something.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. So there's two big reasons why the red notice is a huge deal, and we're gonna touch on the first one now. Okay, so currently we are just at the point where big investors are thinking, should I move a little bit now out of my Bitcoin into that dirty Ethereum? Should I get a little bit of that Ethereum, which is a little bit it's not as old as Bitcoin? And, is it a bit risky? There's lots of other L1s. Should I get a bit? That's where we are at the moment. So big investors are told to be starting to look at L1s. They're being told to start to look beyond Bitcoin now. Literally in the last few days. That's why it's so topical that we're doing this now. They're told, most importantly, don't go too far down the risk curve. If you're going to get out of Bitcoin, and I don't really see the need, because Bitcoin's still massively dominant, it's record dominant at the moment. So there's mathematically, it's a bit early to be. It's a bit premature, and nobody likes to be premature. It's a bit premature to go out of Bitcoin into Ethereum. But if you want to be risky, go into that edgy Ethereum with Vitalik and things and his girlfriend. They're told not to go too far down the risk curve. So they're also looking at SUI, which is flavor of the month in terms of new L1s launch at the same time.
Not flavor of the day, though.
No, that's right. They've had a problem, haven't they, with their exchange and things. But they were looking at correct. That's right. Interesting. That could benefit us, actually. Very good point. That could benefit us if we push that angle. But no, indeed, they've had a problem. And they're also looking at Say. Say's been warming up, also launched about the same time, and not so much Aptos, because that's had a problem as well. Their founder left and things, so they've had a few issues, and there's still a little bit of anxiety because Aptos was Libra, which the government put a stop to, so there's some issues there as well. So Say and Aptos so far have been very disappointing. They're seen as a little bit too risky still. So you've got Solana, you've got Ethereum, people looking at SUI, but now, as you rightly say, they're going to be like, oh, this isn't very good. They're not even started looking at Say and Aptos yet, because they're not far enough. They're too far down the risk curve. Now, way further down that risk curve, I need binoculars to see is the L1 from the guy with the obsession with man bags, who's hunted and wanted by the Finnish government. That is the reality. It's just far too risky.
I don't know. I feel like just on that point real quick too. And again, I
sure,
want to be clear.
That's the fact.
Just want to be clear, like what we agree on too. A couple of things, like Interpol, like is an important thing. Like it makes onboarding investors kind of what you're alluding to, is like, hey, when they see the founder has red notice on them, like they're like, oh, whoa, that doesn't like give them confidence. And it may be the only technical thing in the way of RH streaming right now. It could be like, hey, literally, like, this is not a good OPSEC thing to do. This is not beneficial. There's no benefit to me doing it. All that. I think we both agree on those things, right?
Well, absolutely. Well, these are the central points. This is my debate. This is the point. These are my points. I mean, the inability to stream is my second point. I haven't got to my second point yet, but
yeah,
absolutely.
Well, I just want to hit on so the importance of it being resolved and the SAC process. I think that's one thing we disagree on. I think there's no reason it can't. Like, everything that's happened over the last few weeks and months and couple of years, Richard's had no problem moving funds around. It doesn't appear to be, even with SEC. Now that SEC is gone, it seems like he's really like, hey, look, there's a PulseChain treasury deal. Like, that's not on your list type of thing. So like, what is your thesis on why it wouldn't, what would hold us back from getting SAC prices? Because I'm not clear on that.
Yeah, sure. And sorry, I've not been clear. This isn't even subjective. It's just statements of fact. Let me go back to the beginning so you can understand. Okay. So currently, and this is a statement of fact, investors are favoring Bitcoin still. They're just starting to move to Ethereum. Literally today, Ethereum's up 6-7%. We should be up even more than that, but because of distractions with PDI, we're not today. But that doesn't matter, because normal service will be resumed. Because we're a leverage play on Ethereum, we should be up 8, 9, 10% today. But we're not today. But it's an anomaly. We don't need to worry about one day. We're all going to get to Monaco if we're heavily invested, uncomfortably invested in Hex and PulseChain, as we say on Crypto 7. I see some of the PDI guys being obnoxious and things. Do you have mods, by the way? If you can, if some people are saying things like "Ivoti leaves the ecosystem," I think they should be ejected from your chat. But
mods do your job. Keep it civil. Yeah.
Okay, so you've got a risk curve. Okay, you'll get this because you're a smart guy. You've got a risk curve, right? And the x-axis is risk. Right at the beginning of the risk curve is Bitcoin. Okay, is one solid block. Next, it's Ethereum. Then it's Solana and Sui. Then it's Sei and Aptos. And then at some point, it's PulseChain. We're not at that point yet. So big investors are not going to buy PulseChain at the moment. Why? Because of the red notice. And why that's an issue is, if big investors have to be told about the red notice, okay? Some people say, don't tell them, Crypto 7, don't tell them. You've got to tell them. There's a legal requirement to tell them. You have to tell them. And you're an honest guy. You'd want to tell them anyway, right? So when you tell them, they just look at you. They give you that look, okay? Now, what this means then in practical terms, RH, is without the big investors, it's unlikely that we are going to be pumping as much as Sui, Solana, Aptos, say, to name 4 L1s. This new Hyperliquid, another one, which is this new L1 Hyperliquid that's getting a lot of attention at the moment. Because they're going to have the big investors, they're going to be getting the big fat candles, and that's what causes a reflexivity. That's what causes a lot of people want to FOMO buy behind it. That's what's going to bring the retail to them. So we are going to be advantaged. There's no big investor in the whole world that when you sit them down and they say, listen, I know things are warming up now and Bitcoin's at 120,000 and I can see the dominance is reducing and we're moving into Ethereum. So I'm now willing to have a conversation about new L1s. Talk to me about Solana. Talk to me about Sui, say, Aptos, whatever, Hyperliquid. If you mention the red notice, and you have to mention the red notice, they're going to say, "Whoa, what are you talking? What are you trying to get me into here, Crypto 7?" So they're not going to do it. Now that's why it's a practical problem. It's a big practical problem. Okay.
Yeah. So
you jump in now, and then I'll carry on. I'll carry on why I'm right. Okay.
Okay. So a couple points. One is the thesis of we need big investors for PulseChain to go to the moon. I mean, there's plenty of examples of things. Hex, again, that's like the classic community example. Hex, we did 10,000X without being listed on exchanges, blah, 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 all that stuff. But the whole idea here that they're going to look at Interpol when they've seen the guy twerking and doing outrage marketing, seeing him talk about PP, just his whole history. They can go Google him and find out all the bad stuff that you want to know about anyone he's been slandered here and there everywhere. Is it like, who are the big investors who we're just waiting on to be like, all right, once Interpol's over, I'm in? Like, who is on the fence? Like, isn't a lot of this priced in just like SEC was?
No, not at all. Not at all. No, big investors, these are wealthy people. They don't want to draw attention to themselves. They don't want to upset the Elizabeth Warrens and Janet Yellen.
They don't know if they bought it.
Well, if they start getting associated with stuff like that, they just don't want to be associated. They don't want a sniff of criminality. They don't want a whiff of illegality, even though it was all trumped up and things. They do not want it. I know because I've tried. I've talked to them, so I know. And I'm talking from experience. And I've heard other people have said, you're absolutely right. I had the exact same experience. I had the exact same experience when I talked to big investors. So it is a big deal. And the thing is, you talk about that the hex on Ethereum was a phenomenon. Yeah, I think phenomenon was the right word the first time.
We can't have another phenomenon?
Yeah, but we don't. But the PulseChain phenomenon is going to be measured against other L1s.
It seems
and
like
the problem is we're not in a silo on this one. Whereas we were the only blockchain with certificates of deposits that were any good, providing decent yield. This time round, we're one of a number of very sexy L1s. You know, I mean, the ones that are using the Move programming language are very sexy, and so you know, we don't have an edge on the technical side. We do have good volume, but so does Sui, and so do a lot of them, and so does Solana with all the meme coins and things. Anyway, so that's an issue. Big investors, it's just a state. Everyone knows is in crypto that currently we are just big investors are just tentatively going beyond Bitcoin to Ethereum. Then they'll go to the others, and they go down the risk curve. So that with the Interpol notice is a problem for us. Even after there's more risk appetite, it's still a problem because it's going to hold us back. So we will do a 4x instead of a 40x. We'll do a 5x instead of a 25x. It's holding us back a lot. And that is the case.
No, I just don't think it is. I don't know, based on big investors are not going to come in because they see red notes. I mean, look at Ethereum. I mean, who says I invest in Ethereum because I like Vitalik? I mean, Satoshi isn't even around anymore. Like you can't even look at his record. And Binance, CZ went to prison. BNB's doing fine.
Well, what bit are you disagreeing with? Because are we agreeing? Because there's even Himalayan goat farmers that know that we're currently Bitcoin is dominant, and we're only just moving to Ethereum. So this is because it's a natural product of the fact that at the point we are in the cycle, people are very risk averse. We're in disbelief. We started talking about that. People are very
nervous. Different than any other crypto on that, though. I mean, they're risk averse to every crypto, aren't they?
They're spoiled for choice. They're spoiled for, you see, because you're so passionate about Richard. You even use Richard in your name, which I like because it's authentic. A lot of people do it who are scammers who are just, but in your case, it's not the case. But because you're so passionate about PulseChain and Hex, I've noticed this about you. You tend to think that we exist in a silo. But we don't exist in a silo. We're in an open marketplace where the difference between Sui, Solana, and PulseChain is that they are going to get the big investors, and we are not because of the red notice. Now, I have spoken to big investors, and they look at you like they're going to show you the door. You've heard of the elevator pitch, yeah? Or for your audience, should we just make sure everyone knows what the elevator pitch is? The elevator pitch is you have the time it takes an elevator to travel 11 floors to convince a billionaire to invest in a crypto.
You wouldn't have to mention Victor Hart's name in the entire elevator pitch, though. Like the whole thing's about PulseChain. I said even in the elevator pitch, you wouldn't have to. You have to. You would be in a lot of trouble if you didn't. If I'm selling Ethereum, I'm selling Solana. I don't even know who the founder of Solana is. Why would I even say their name in the pitch to them?
Because there's a legal. If we had a lawyer here now, he'd agree. If Nuclear Herbs was on with us now, he'd agree. You've got to.
I would not put words in his mouth either. Yeah, that would be interesting to see.
Well,
I'm not sure if you would agree.
Well, I think they would.
I'll take the other side of that.
You can't really. I mean, I am legally trained. I have worked with a lot of legal people.
I know you have a lot of experience. I know. I've been around the block a little bit as well.
It's another statement of fact, buddy. Fact one.
State the fact. State the fact, though. Just so I'm clear. I don't think I understand the fact that you're stating. What is the fact? The big investors won't invest because of Interpol red notice. Is that the fact?
Yeah.
Okay. So that is a decent fact. Okay, let's go with that. Let's say that big investors, not sure I would say all big investors, but I'll say majority, benefit of the doubt.
Vast majority. You'll get some like some weirdos like Rackham, but the vast majority will not. And the vast majority, if you pitch to them without mentioning the red, you would be in so much trouble with them. You would be in so much trouble. You'd wake up with a horse's head next to your pillow.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many pieces of this that are just like, you've scoped it in a way that is, first of all, the assumption is we need big investors for PulseChain to go past SAC prices, first of all. And if you want to say past SAC prices, I mean, you can say any number of X. Let's do 10X. We need big investors to do 10X even. And I just don't think that's true. And then the other scope is that they're going to automatically be turned off, and they even care about the founder. I think they care about the green candles. I think they care about putting their money in a place that has been proven over 2 years to not fail, and even have great buying prices. Like, there's so many other points you could point to.
You're putting words in my mouth now, so I need to jump in. I'm not scoping it that way. This is just the first of one of my many powerful and compelling points that will have everyone.
My body's ready. Let's do it.
That will have everyone who's not a PDI peddler. I think Grandpa Pulse is in. He's a PDI peddler as well. Good shout out to Pete, Grandpa Pulse. He's all right. He's all right. I used to get quite a lot of friendly banter off him, but yeah, he's in to push PDI as well. I'm sure there's going to be lots of C7 haters and things.
Yeah. What was your point?
Yeah. What was my point? It was the big investor thing is just one point amongst many. So now these things come together, they curate, so we've got this issue there, which I've mentioned. Now another issue is that we have seen, and you'll agree with this, I assume, we have seen that it's been difficult for us to get to SAC price and above SAC price. We've tended to go to
on launch, and we went past it.
Yeah, on launch. But since then, there's been two periods. But since then, there's been two periods when, if you look at the charts, there's been two periods where we've got to 4 zeros and an 8, and we've sort of sat there and we've struggled to get past there. Now, there's a reason for that, guys.
I just don't think it's Interpol. Like, what is the reason?
Well, even if it wasn't Interpol, that doesn't.
It's definitely not, in my opinion. That's definitely not the reason we're not over SAC. Like, what other reason could it be, though?
Well, if you let me explain.
Okay, I'm trying to jump in where I can. But
you can't just keep saying I'm definitely not right. You know, it definitely is Interpol.
I definitely disagree with this point, but
we can play that game if you like. You can stop me in my tracks and say it's definitely not Interpol, and I can turn around and say it definitely is Interpol, buddy. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but why?
Right, that's the point. So anyway, I'm explaining it to you now. So on 2 occasions we couldn't get past 4 zeros and an 8. And that's why we do need the big investors. That's why we do need something. And that something is the Interpol red notice lifted. Now, the reason that we can't get past 4 zeros and an 8 is because the guys that had the bonus multiplier, like Rackham, are in serious profit at 4 zeros and an 8. That's why. And because there's psychological selling at 4 zeros and for 3 zeros and a 1, because a lot of guys are very proud and they go, when we get to SAC, I'm selling and I'm not DCAing down. You know, you'll see it in your chat. You see all these people say, how much are we going to go up from SAC? And you think, well, but we've been at 4 zeros and a 1, so surely you were taking an opportunity to buy even just a little bit at 4 zeros and a 1. But so because these guys, and I'm not targeting Rackham, could be one of his Arab friends or whoever, because they know that guys are waiting for 3 zeros and a 1 for SAC price, they go, well, at 4 zeros and an 8, I'm on a 3x or something with my bonus multiplier, so I'll just fucking sell some there. And so that's why we haven't been able to get past. And a big reason is the red notice. As I said right at the beginning, for people coming in now, the red notice is holding us back immeasurably. That's not subjective, it's a fact, okay? And the fact it's holding us back immeasurably. Some people who are pessimistic will say, oh, no, Crypto 7, don't say that, no. And optimistic, positive people who understand what I'm saying will go, okay, that's why it's such a huge opportunity. That's why it's the life-changing gamble. If you bet the red notice is going to be removed in time, there's an interesting point there, RH. It's got to be removed in time. This could all be over in 3 months. This could be all over in 3 months because I've got my calculator out. And due to the global M2 money supply and things, people think we're gonna pump for the next 3 months. Well, also, we should have pumped in Q1. Q1 after the halving's always fantastic, except for this year. The Q1 in the final year of the bull market, which we are very much in, guys, is always fantastic, except this one. So we've had the correction. So for all these reasons, whether it's global liquidity, whether it's the fact we should have pumped in the first quarter, but due to tariff threats we didn't, I'm anticipating a phenomenal 12 weeks for people in Hex and PulseChain.
So
after that, we're going to correct again. And what we're seeing in this cycle, I'll just quickly finish my point. What we're seeing in this cycle is long sideways periods of cool-offs. We saw it between March and October last year. We saw it Jan to April this year. If we get another 4 or 5 months cool-off, we're out of time, buddy. We're out of time. So I think the answer is sell everything you can now. Get as much Hex and PulseChain as you can now. We may only have 12 weeks because if we correct for 3, 4, 5, 6 months, we're out of time. We're out of the 4 years. Now, the answer is take some profit in 3 months' time and leave some in case we do go into 2026, because it's a delicious narrative and we'll all want to hear it, and a lot of people will tell us that. But I'm not buying it. This time's different. Is it really?
So just back to the Interpol piece though too. So is Finland Interpol? Are they going after PulseChain, or are they going after Richard?
It's the same thing, buddy. I see the point you're making. It's synonymous with the same thing.
No, it's the same thing for a big investor.
It's currently the same thing. Look, there is a point to sort of go with what you're saying. There is a point as we go, because we've said right at the beginning of the stream, we're in disbelief now. We've got optimism, hope, optimism, belief, thrill, euphoria. When we're in euphoria, a lot of people are going to go with what you're saying. Oh yeah, it doesn't even apply to PulseChain. It's just Richard. Screw Richard. Yeah, okay. And yeah, there will be a lot of investment then, and that will be a frantic time. But the problem is, this is the last bull market, and if we've got to wait to the last 21 days, typically the last 21 days of altcoin season are insane. That's why you can't cheat the system. You can't get out too early, too much, because if you miss that last 21 days, you miss 150, 200% gains in the last 21 days. So that is the thing. But if we have to wait to the last 21 days, when I've been in crypto for 10 years, when we've done our homework so well on DeFi and all the things we have, it's a bit of shit. And so, and this is why the red notice is holding us back a lot. Do you want to jump in, or otherwise I'll just continue my point so that everyone can see what I'm saying about the red notice? Yeah,
I'm just not. I brought up the red notice is completely Richard's thing, nothing to do with PulseChain. He happens to be the founder of PulseChain, but the red notice does not affect PulseChain whatsoever. SEC, we have regulatory clarity. We beat them based on merit, all that stuff. So I just don't see, again, does it help onboarding? Does it help big investors get confidence if you're like, by the way, the founder has a red notice? But like, I don't know who's pitching that. Who is like talking? I don't know. I talk to investors and stuff as well. I just don't think that it's like this point of like, okay, we need to go into every founder's dirty laundry and all that stuff in order to sell this product. It's good to use as a selling point, but it's totally one of those things like, hey, there's this thing, Finland, blah, 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 but like whatever. I'm not saying that it's not important, but I don't think it has anything to do with us pumping as far as what I think we can pump in this ecosystem, which doesn't need these big investors to be like, yeah, I'm going to write the checks. Okay, well, that sounds great. Well, sign me up for this making 2% per year for baby gains. I just don't think it has anything to do with it.
So did people vandalize Teslas because they didn't like electric cars, or did they vandalize Teslas because they got upset with Elon Musk?
Are you relating vandalizing to not investing?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I think it was a very good connection there, because you're saying that people should measure PulseChain purely on PulseChain, presumably the tokenomics of PulseChain and things, and nothing to do with the founder. And I'm saying the Tesla stores got vandalized and cars got set alight, not because they didn't like the cars. In fact, they liked the cars, but because they were upset with the founder. So what I'm trying to say is, and I thought it was a good one. We'll leave your viewers to decide, but I thought it was a nice connection there. What I'm saying is that what I'm saying is, and I'm using a perfect example, is the founders are very important, and it's all well and good saying they're not, but they are. And in terms of are we going to go up without big investors? Yes, we are. Are you and I going to get to Monaco? Yes, we probably are. But we're going to go up
I've completely convinced you the other side. We cannot make that. You can't say that as fact unless I've convinced you in this debate. Because your whole thesis on this debate is we cannot go past SAC price at Interpol. So if you say that can we do without big investors? Yeah, we can. Doesn't that invalidate the whole argument?
Yeah,
They already win the debate.
We will get past SAC when Ethereum's like 4 or 5K. But if we were to get good news from Nuclear Herbs tonight about Interpol, I'm saying that we would instantly 3-4x. We would instantly go past SAC and we'd never go back to SAC. I'm saying that
the SEC happened even bigger than Interpol, and we got a
much bigger. Interpol's much bigger than the SEC. Interpol is much bigger than the.
But why? Can you explain why it's much bigger?
Yeah, absolutely. Because everyone knew that the SEC had a directive from the White House to leave crypto alone. So everyone knew that there was an air and sense of inevitability that Richard Hart was going to be. I hope everyone's enjoying this. I hope it's friendly. I think it's friendly. I think we're having a good discourse.
Definitely.
I've got a lot of respect for RHMax. He got a shout out from Richard Hart, and I want to put that public. I think that was really good for his work in the conference. And not many people get a shout out from Richard Hart, so massive props to you for that, buddy. So yeah, where was it? What was I saying? I think where was I going? Oh yeah, look, it's my personal belief that Ethereum. You see, although I'm taking a position for the debate, I do believe that Ethereum's going to be 4,000 within the next 10 days. I do believe that Ethereum is going to be 4,000 within the next 10 days, based on global M2, based on the fact that BlackRock bought $29 million off it today, signaling it's time to start buying Ethereum. Now, the beauty is that because we are of where we are at the risk curve, coming back to that, and people are moving to Ethereum, and because Ethereum's got an ETF, because we've seen the value of the ETF for the Bitcoin, we're going to see it for Ethereum as well. So whether it's luck or judgment, and we needed some luck. I'm a big believer in luck. I did very well in motorsport and things. Luck is important. And I think we've had a bit of a paucity of luck. We've been a bit luckless in the last 12 months, but I think we're going to get lucky now, because I think Ethereum's going to do a lot better than people realize. And you can see it in the price charts today, guys. Ethereum's outperformed almost all top 100 coins, other than a few well-known meme coins, Artificial Superintelligence Alliance, a couple of others like that, but pretty much it's top dog. And I think this is going to be the trend that's going to continue, and that's going to be so beneficial for PulseChain. So I'm saying Ethereum 4K in 10 days' time. I think easily. Okay. At that point, that might be enough gas to get us to SAC. That might be enough gas to get us to SAC.
Okay, so not only will Ethereum going up getting us past SAC price, like that's what will happen. We don't need Interpol to be dismissed to get past SAC price. Like Ethereum could just go up and get past SAC price.
So if the red notice got lifted now, I think we would instantly 3 to 5x. I genuinely believe that. I genuinely believe we would instantly 3 to 5x, because it comes to my other point. I think we can probably get past SAC within the next couple of months, even without the Interpol lifted. But we would do so much better. We would do so much better with it lifted. You guys just don't realize. And when you accept what I'm saying, and remember, with the red notice, all I'm offering you is the truth. So all I'm offering you guys is the truth. And so, but it's the truth. Okay.
I mean,
you laugh at me, but I've got 10 years of experience. I'm making 40.
No, but you're saying the truth, and it's just an opinion. Like I keep asking you, like, why do you believe this? And it
was a Matrix reference, buddy. It was a Matrix reference. Like, your subscribers are
I need
very
to take the red pill
I'm
more
sure
often.
You do need to take the red pill more often. It was a Matrix reference.
Do you think Interpol will get dismissed though? Like
Yes, I do. I think it'll get dismissed, but the question is it going to get dismissed in time? Because this could be all over in 12 weeks. I think we've got 3 very good months. Then they're saying we're going to have another cool off. Well, we know how those go in this bull market. I don't want to be sitting around twiddling my thumbs wondering if we are going to get another run. So I would be suggesting people take a lot off the table. I probably shouldn't be saying this, should I? I should probably not be saying this to half the Hex and PulseChain community. But, I just don't see how you can risk it because we're going to run out of time with the sands of time for the 4-year cycle. We've got 150 days. That's all we've got.
I'm not sure I'm clear. So you think that the red notice is not going to be dismissed by the time the cycle's over and that people should take profits now?
By the time what's over?
By the time that the cycle is over, by the time the bull run or whatever, the up time period.
I'm hoping it will be, but it might not be because the cycle could be over in 12 weeks. I think we're going to make people don't realize how much money we're going to make in the next 12 weeks. There's lots of points. People will latch onto the negative, but they're not realizing what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that even without the red notice resolved, we're all going to make a lot of money, and presumably you've diversified a bit as well. Surely you're not just in Hex and PulseChain, but certainly my subscribers aren't. I mean, I'm making, and I don't say this to brag, I don't say this to flex, I just say this to give you context, and for also if you know who you're talking to. I'm making I've been the last 10 days or so, making between $40,000 to $60,000 a day just from portfolio appreciation because I got into gaming, I got into AI, I got into the other new layer ones. So I'm doing just fine, thank you. Artificial super intelligence has made me 13% today. It's one of my biggest holdings after Hex and PulseChain. And I've never sold a core coin, by the way, unless you include swapping PLS for most. I've never sold a core coin. So
got a question here quick, I think, or kind of a point to topic. Red notice is not going away that easy though. We can do this without RH, can't we? I mean, it sounds like you're saying we can't. So like we said, we need red notice to go away for the founder, for PulseChain to succeed. Is that your position?
We can do it without the red notice disappearing. We will make, I would estimate, 10 to 20x, and that's being quite generous. 10 to 20x on these prices without the red notice disappearing is optimistic, to be honest. Probably 10x. 20x would be from all-time lows. I think we'd be lucky to get more than a 10x without the red dismissed. And we've only got potentially only 12 weeks. Now, this is a thing. The probability is that we will have one final hurrah after this 3 months period, and that we would just, consolidate for 2 or 3 months, and then there would be this final blow off top. That's probably what's going to happen, and then that gives more time for the red notice to be resolved. But this is the $1 million question. I mean, I'll be straight with you. I've mentioned, what I'm making in the other cryptos and things. Even a 10x gets me to Monaco, and I know it gets a lot of my subscribers to Monaco, but it probably doesn't get a lot of people that are putting their hopes and dreams in something like PDI to Monaco.
What is the Monaco? Can you explain that as well? Like, what is the Monaco? I hear you say that a lot. Like, what is the Monaco? Does that mean like moving to Monaco? Like, can you explain that?
Yeah, it's a metaphorical. It's a metaphorical nirvana. It's an ambition.
When you get rich in crypto, you're not actually going to go to Monaco.
I may go to Monaco. Okay. I may go to Portugal. It's so when I say Monaco, my subscribers will get this. When I say Monaco, I could be saying Portugal. I could be saying Switzerland, which is very crypto friendly, and they've got good looking blondes there. I could be talking about any nice country. When I say Monaco, I could even just be saying you're able to hand your resignation letter in. I could just be saying you're able to buy a home and remove your mortgage. That could be Monaco for you. I could be saying to be able to pay for your daughter's wedding is Monaco for you. So Monaco is
make your dreams come true.
Yeah, and that's what Hex and PulseChain are about, isn't it? Yeah, that's right, man. Now there's another reason. I know most people. By the way, I see people in the chat saying they agree with me already, buddy. But I've only covered.
There's a lot of people who don't agree with you in chat as well. Don't worry.
I didn't see them. I've not seen them. I should not shout out to Pokey Dude. Pokey D's on my side. He agrees with me. So I've only covered one of the big elephants in the room, which is a big issue with the red notice. The other issue
is it red notice for your latest? I mean, is it Red Notice related? Because I really want to just hit some of these key points on Red Notice. So
it is totally Red Notice related.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay. So point 2 on the Red Notice. I think everyone agrees that the Red Notice is what's stopping Richard streaming. Okay. It's obvious that's why he's doing videos, because it makes him harder to trace and things. And it's obvious he loves streaming because he challenges everybody, every idiot, to stream longer than he can. And that's how much he loves it.
Yeah,
you know,
I agree with that.
I'm an hour, I'm done. You know, I'm old, so an hour is enough for me. You know, he's like 3-4 hours. Yeah, okay, so beautiful. We agree strongly on that. Right. Therefore, the Red Notice is not only going to bring the big investors, which then brings in the small investors because everyone FOMOs in and things. It's also going to enable Richard, who is the most charismatic crypto founder by a million miles. It's going to allow him to stream, and that's going to allow him to provide leadership. What we are massively lacking in this community now, which is bifurcated into lots of different factions. So you've got the nasty PDI guys who are jumping in now to abuse me. You've got the people who left for Titan X.
I don't see PDI guys, by the way.
Oh yeah, they're all over the place, buddy. They're all over the place. They're everywhere. I had to block about 10. I had to block about 10 today. Okay. But they've all got about 10. They all follow about 100 people, and they got 10 people following them. I don't know what that tells you about PDI investors.
Real quick, I just want to make clear too. Like, this is not neither of us, especially me. I'm not saying Red Notice is not important and that it doesn't matter. I'm just saying the price can pump without Red Notice, or with Red Notice or without it. I think it's regardless of Red Notice, the price can pump. That's just my key point.
Yeah, it can pump like a little kid's party balloon, whereas when we have the Red Notice removed, it can pump like a huge hot air balloon with enough room in the basket for 6 good-looking girls to go up in the air with you.
Just to still man that the point of that too. I think the biggest thing that the biggest thing we can get from Red Notice being removed, if Richard is in fact planning on coming back and being our massive #1 marketing guy as he always was before, that can help price appreciation and go up even further and all that stuff. So just to still man your point, like, yeah, that is, I think, yeah, I mean, the 10,000x in the ballpark, if our #1 marketing guy comes back, which Red Notice is probably a lot to do with that. So
I'm not familiar with that phrase, steal, man. Does that mean you're agreeing with me?
Yeah, so it's just like basically taking the position the other side and just making it as strong as possible. So
you're just coming over to my side, aren't you? You just I'm winning the debate. That's
is that what's going on?
I think so, buddy. I think so. You're warming to me and agreeing with me more and more as we're going along. So
fair and balanced. Real quick from Deep Catcher there. Richard needs to be all in or all out. What do you think about that?
Richard needs to be all in or all out.
I mean, it's interesting.
All in, yeah. I mean, I'm all for all in. I'm all in. I'm all for all in. I think.
But like, he needs to be. I think the point is, like, for PulseChain to succeed, like for everything to go, like to be a real thing, Richard needs to be all in. It can't just be in this limbo of Interpol. That's what I'm getting from it.
Yeah. So we're both. Yeah, I don't quite get his point. That we're both very much in agreement that Richard streaming is going to be massive for the price. I mean, there's going to be a queue of all the big channels wanting him on. The advantages are endless. One of the big advantages, not just marketing, but it's providing the leadership to the community. This is where I was going with that. So the community has bifurcated endlessly, and what we need is some leadership. And obviously, we've had the very unfortunate period where people were deliberately misinterpreting, maliciously misinterpreting Richard's words to suit their agenda to try to make money in PDI and things. But we've had this a lot, and so it would be wonderful to have Richard streaming, because we need that leadership. And it's very topical today, because even today, somebody has pumped PDI up to try to get people to buy it. And as I say, we are a leverage play on Ethereum. Ethereum's up 6-7% today, so we should be up roughly 8 or 9. We say on Crypto 7, if you're up 4 or 5% a day, that's phenomenal. It compounds. We'll all get to Monaco soon.
We're used to going up 4 or 5% and then going down 15%. That's what.
Yeah, that's right. And we won't go down 15%. That's the beauty.
The gradual broke syndrome. Instead of sudden wealth syndrome, gradual broke syndrome. We got to reverse. got to go up.
Yeah, well, there won't be any of that now. I mean, this is the thing. Everyone's in disbelief. No one realizes how good this is going to be. But it'll be a lot better when the Interpol notice is lifted. So not only it's not the big investors is just one point. The other thing is that it'll enable Richard to stream, and he will stream. Then that provides the leadership, and people who are deliberately misinterpreting him, they will be completely nullified. They'll be completely extracted from the process, and we all know who I'm talking about. And that's just the way it's going to be. And you know, and if he's okay with something, that's fine. If he's not, you'll know it. And this is what we need. We need leadership. One of the things is that about Hex and PulseChain, and this isn't a criticism. I think I'm victim of this myself. I'm not victim. I apply this approach myself. I'm quite a good judge of character. And I think hexagons and pulsecons are very good judges of character. And I think that's why they gravitated to Richard. They didn't listen to what other people said about Richard. They liked Richard. There's a lot of military guys, lots of servicemen who are in Hex and PulseChain because they like Richard. They don't understand. Let's be honest about it. They don't understand blockchain. They don't know their proof of work from their proof of stake, but they just like Richard. There's something about him, and they're all in. And they got rich doing that. There's nothing wrong with it. But what we've got, therefore, there's a community which they do actually want to be led. On the whole, we've got a community. Obviously, guys like us are exceptions to the rule. That's why we're trying to provide some leadership in the absence of Richard. But most people in Hex and PulseChain want to be led. So when Richard wasn't able to stream, that creates a problem. It creates a vacuum, and it creates an opportunity for people to say, "I'll lead you. I'll lead you. Grab your pegs. I'll lead you." And it's a big problem. And this is a very strong point.
You channel the voice of every founder. I'll lead you.
Yeah, this is a very big point.
Some better than worse. Some better than worse. There's plenty of great leader founders though too.
Yeah, and this is a very big point now because we have this issue now that because people are following the wrong people, frankly, you know, and that's creating a problem. I've forgotten the point I was making there, but you come back and I'll no doubt remind myself what it was in a moment.
Okay, yeah, let me just get a question here from Graphics. What is the path to success if RH has the notice for quite some time? That's a really good question. Like, what if, you know, I don't know. My personal opinion, I think there's all kinds of ways. I've covered this on stream for it to be dismissed. There's a lot of just jurisdiction issues that come up. There's a lot of entity, like, is it, I don't even think it's Richard's personal finances. I think he probably, why wouldn't he, billionaire genius founder guy, why wouldn't he put in some entity, some charity, some other foundation that has nothing to do with his personal finances, protected from taxes, all that fun stuff? And how do we even know Richard's a Finnish citizen or a Finnish resident, or, you know, obviously citizen, not that either, but they could have no jurisdiction over him whatsoever anyways. Why wouldn't he, you know, make that strategy way beforehand, because he, in preparing for sacrifices, all that fun stuff. So I think I just don't see it going on for a long time, not nearly as long as SEC. But if it does, then I think we just won't have our number one marketer. I think we'll still be fine. I mean, again, it keeps pushing the community marketing stuff and go out there and, again, put in the work and get exchange listings and outbound messaging and all that stuff too. I mean, definitely it's a huge boost to have our number one marketing guy and him coming back, but I don't see it happening. And if it does, again, we're just missing our marketing guy. I don't think that's going to hold everyone back from investing. Will hold some people, sure, but I just don't think it's going to happen. What do you think, Seven?
I think that time has shown that it has held us back. I think that the reason that we're still below SAC price is because of the red notice. I don't think it's because we haven't done enough conferences. I don't think it's because we haven't worked hard enough. I don't think it's because Crypto 7 hasn't streamed every day. I think it's because we need that resolved. And I think that investors are looking at it, and it's just way too messy. It's just way too risky, and we need him to be able to stream. So it's a massive issue. And it's also an issue because I see PDI as an existential threat to PulseChain. I do. I see it, and I think that
we on PDI again.
Well, no, we've barely touched on PDI, but I think that we have a problem.
Are intertwined. Tell me.
Well, because once Richard's streaming, he can correct the record on PDI without this nonsense of people endlessly misinterpreting what he's saying.
He already corrected it. He already said that a bunch of things that weren't positive, right?
Well, I know, but some people are able to not listen in a live stream. You can't do that. It's just different. It's more informal. It's longer. It's more regular. You just can't do it. Shout out to Fast Abdul, and his ink print has gone really well. I think that. No, I mean, I can tell people the truth based on my 10 years and things. And if people can handle it and if people want it, I can tell you.
I don't know. I feel like when you say truth a lot, is really something you definitely believe. I think what you say a lot. I just don't think it's not like I'm not saying my opinion is the truth. I'm just saying that is what I believe based on all these data, all these maybe backed up by facts, maybe backed by experience, maybe backed by circumstantial things.
Yeah.
But I think you just have a very strong,
Well, where we are. Well, where we are in the risk curve is the truth, yeah? Where we are in the risk, everyone agrees. Even Himalayan goat farmers know that where we are in the risk curve. And so
have you talked to them? Have you tried to onboard Himalayan goat farmers?
No, but I got a Tibetan nomad to join recently. So it's pretty obvious. It's pretty obvious they're not going to be interested in the guy who's wanted from the Finnish government. They're not going to invest.
You showed them a video of Richard twerking and be like, yeah, he seems okay.
Yeah, I think they'd pass on it. I don't think they'd have another meeting.
Right. I'll check with my Sherpa and see. I don't know.
No, that is the case. You see, this is where you sort of. It's kind of like I can come to you and say that trees use photosynthesis to survive, and you're going, oh, I don't think so, Crypto 7. I think that's up for debate. Well, it bloody isn't.
I don't think I would question that one. That sounds pretty much like it's in a book, but
where we are in the risk curve is a statement of fact. So when you think about it, if they're only just willing to invest in Ethereum, they're not going to invest in PulseChain right now. And the red notice is a big impedance. It's a big hindrance.
Okay. I just want to again clarify so I understand. So you're saying that PulseChain is very far down the risk curve. A lot of the big investors, they're not even going to go there in the first place. And if they do, then it's kind of like they're going to be scared away by the founder having some, the red notice.
Yeah.
Okay. So
they're looking for reasons not to invest. They're looking for reasons. There's too many bloody cryptos. There's too many bloody good, sexy L1s. They're looking for a reason not to invest. If I start talking about red notice to a billionaire, they're just going to give me the look.
Red notice? Why would you start talking about red notice though? It sounds like you're starting a conversation
because
listen, I got a crypto and there's a red notice on the founder. Do you still want to hear more?
Legally required to. You're legally required to.
Listen, my hook is the red notice.
Right. And on top of that, and we both agree on this one as well, that basically that's going to allow him to, it's going to enable him to stream, which is going to provide the community with leadership that we all crave. And it's just going to make people want to buy the shit out of Hex and PulseChain. And then it's going to be phenomenal. And he's going to go on the big channels. And and then just linking PDI, you see, we have an issue. We have an issue, and that is that.
All right, we talk about PI for like 5 minutes. Good. Let's go. Let's do it.
Let's do it. The world's most charismatic crypto YouTuber is all in on PDI, and he isn't just the most charismatic. He doesn't think he's going to peg though. He said he's not just the most charismatic YouTuber in PulseChain. Okay, I mean there aren't any very charismatic streamers in PulseChain. I'm probably number 2, and I'm a long way behind. Okay. And so he is because I can't think of an as charismatic YouTuber, and this is a compliment to Somi. So I'm setting the scene. So you PDI guys, you can go with this. Someone says, I'm sure Crypto 7 has 0 friends in real life. Through choice, Scotty. Through choice, man. I'm too busy promoting your investments.
Keep it civil. There are some fun. Well, let's not
I don't mind that sort of stuff.
I mean, not funny for you in particular, just in general. Chad is they're comedians.
Oh, thanks, man.
Probably have good intentions.
So it's okay to be rude to me. It's all right to be rude to me, not to you. No. So yeah, right. Okay. I think I'll let people know about something, right? So
okay.
The only crypto YouTuber after 10 years of experience that I can think of that's as charismatic as Somi is Ben Armstrong, and I think he's living under a bridge now. I think he's estranged from his mistress, and I think he's living under a bridge. And I think so.
BitBoy's doing well. Shout out to BitBoy.
Shout out to BitBoy, yeah, man. Shout out to BitBoy. But so, if if Somi is principally just talking about something which really everyone else outside of our ecosystem thinks a joke, and encouraging people to buy that instead of getting the cause, which is what we've seen today, then we've got a bit of a problem. We've got a bit of a problem because I think I'm the second most charismatic YouTuber, and I think he's light years ahead of me. And I think we haven't got anyone who can measure up to him. And it's a problem. And I think it's a problem because he tends not to talk about the core coins. When he does, it tends to be in a dismissive way. I saw a tweet today where he was dismissing the coins, the cores. And you know, what we're seeing in PDI is obvious and blatant price manipulation. Because the PDI boys, they overall generally they've got small wallets. Let's be honest about it. They got small wallets, and this goes to the thing about people in Hex and PulseChain want to be led. They haven't got Richard anymore, so that they're following Somi. They are blindly following this guy, and what has happened today is somebody with a big bag in PDI and a vested interest to try to get people to buy it and to get exit liquidity has pumped it, and it's worked, and it's distracted the ecosystem when we should be buying the cause. Because Ethereum's up 7% today, we should be up 9-10 easily in PLS, PLSX, Hex, and we're not. And it's embarrassing. Now, what will happen at some point is one of these guys with a huge bag in PDI, someone like Decentralize Me, who's obviously a bad apple, and I saw that a mile off, he's going to sell, and it's going to go to zero because there's no liquidity in PDI. If all the PDI boys got together, they couldn't buy a Lambo. They couldn't buy a new Lambo. I think there's $85,000 worth of liquidity in PDI. It's nothing. It's nothing.
Just so we wrap up on the PDI though, like what is your core piece against PDI? Is it because for me, I tweeted
it's a distraction. I don't think it's anymore. I'm not technical, but I don't think
it's a meme coin. It's a meme coin.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
exactly.
So if people treat it as a meme coin, then they can do that. But it's like, yeah, I feel like that's the ethos. It is. Yeah, it had this narrative. It's got a big community. There's a bunch of.
I'm literally going to have to let the cat out because sorry, carry on that point. I agree with the point about the meme coin, and we'll carry on with that. Just give me 3 seconds.
We can totally close off PDI at this point, though. But yeah, we can get back to Interpol. Is there any chat? Is there any points that we haven't covered yet? I feel like we covered 3 or 4 at least key ones. So let me know, chat, if there's some point we didn't cover.
Sorry about that, buddy.
Yeah, welcome back. I was just asking chat, is there some point on Interpol that we haven't covered yet? Ask chat just to put it in there so we can look at too.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with you totally. You hit the nail on the head. PDI is now a meme coin. It's now a meme coin. And as such, it will have days when it goes up 30, 40% like today, and then days when it goes down 50 and 60%. That's of no interest to me as quite a big investor. That's of no interest to me. And bigger investors than me particular, they do not want to go to bed and find they've lost $500,000, $1 million overnight. There's no way. So there's 2 massive lies in PDI at the moment. There's 2 massive lies being perpetrated in PDI at the moment. One lie is that it's going to peg. And this is what all the PDI guys collectively will try to tell people outside of our ecosystem to get them to buy it. The other lie, so there's 2 lies. That's one lie. The other lie, and this is a funny one, guys, is that all of the PDI guys individually are trying to lie to everyone else because they all think they're the only one that realizes it's not going to peg. They think they are the only one clever enough to realize it's not going to peg, and they're going to sell on them when it gets to 20 cents, 30 cents, 40 cents, whatever. They all think that they're going to be the clever one that's going to exit on everyone else. But the reality is that there are people with huge, huge bags of PDI that are going to sell way before these people who think they're clever, because they think they're all lying collectively to the outside world, saying it's going to peg, which it's not. Then they're all lying individually to each other because they're all saying, oh, no, we're all going to hold to $1, aren't we? But none of them they're all secretly saying, I'm going to sell on you fuckers. I'm going to sell on you fuckers at 10 cents. I've got a load now. When it gets to 10 cents, I'm going to keep shouting it's going to $1 and I'm not going to sell. And we're all going to sell. And they all think, this is the funny thing, they all think that they're the only one that's come up with this idea, but they're all on the idea. It's hilarious.
Well, I've actually found a way to relate Pete, so we pivot back to Interpol here too. How many people do you think are in PulseChain and Hex and the RH ecosystem? Like, is it like hundreds of thousands? Like, what if you could have a number on it? What would you say?
I think it's hundreds of thousands. Yeah, I think that's what it is, isn't it? I think it's hundreds of thousands.
Yeah. So just on that, so hundreds of thousands, and so they're holding. You know, a lot of people, they may not be very active on the chain, but they probably haven't left. Some of them may have left. They still may have coins and all this stuff too. So we got hundreds of thousand holders, and yeah, they want the Interpol to go away. They want red notice to go away and stuff, but they're still holding. I don't think, again, you can say your opinion on this too, but like, I don't think they're all just like degen, super high risk. I think a lot of them probably are some variety of institutional investors that are already in. They already did the sack rate. They already did the sacrifices for both of them. That already like committed into this, and they're probably just waiting, maybe for Interpol to start buying, or maybe they've already started buying the dip. They've already started marketing and pushing out the different campaigns. You mentioned the different marketing efforts that are happening in the community recently as well. There are people starting to wake up and be like, no matter what, I want my bags to pump. So maybe I'm using that as an example of like, Interpol seems very important, and it seems like this thing that like we need to have go away before this place goes to glory. And that may be the case. But like, as far as pumping goes and getting X's and price go up and 10, 50, 100X, all that stuff, I don't see what Interpol has to do with it as far as that piece goes. But do you think everyone's just degens in this community, or do you feel like there are some already institutional people in who are just, they're not going to go away. They want to get some ROI.
Oh, well, there's some big players in Hex and PulseChain for sure. I talked to some of them. There are huge players. I mean, I've meant giving people a feeling for where I'm at on the crypto scale, but there are some people that, you know, make my portfolio, you know, as we mentioned, going up $40,000-$60,000 a day at the moment, make my portfolio look like nothing. Looks like something they tip in a Miami nightclub on a table. No, I mean, there's some huge players in Hex and PulseChain for sure, absolutely. But yeah, I mean, I don't think I'm saying that. You see, I don't think that. Firstly, I don't agree with your premise that everyone thinks that the red notice is a big deal. I think people don't realize what a big deal it is. Secondly, I think most people dismiss it as not as big a deal as it is. But so, what I'm saying is that we will
realize it was a big deal that they would leave, they would sell now.
Well, this is the central. Thank you. This is $1 million question. No, what I am saying is that when it's resolved, we're going to go up a lot more than people realize because of the big investor thing, because of the fact that Richard will be streaming. I don't think people realize how much it's holding us back. That's not a negative statement; it's a positive statement. If I'd said it a few months ago, it could have led to people leaving, yes. But saying it now shouldn't lead to people leaving. It should lead to people thinking, wow. So the big life-changing gain in crypto at the moment, because there's no point buying Solana now. It's already done a 20x. There's no point buying some of these cryptos now. There's no point being Bitcoin now because you get a 2x if you're lucky on it now.
Well, I would also say that the big players, institution stuff, the Ethereum was supposedly a security. Like that was the biggest thing for years, and still, I mean, yeah, we have the institutions have came in and started buying it now that it's not a security, but like its price hasn't even pumped as much as we wanted to either. So that was like SEC security stuff holding big investors back, you could say. Interpol is just, I don't know, it just seems it is the founder has this personal issue that has nothing to do with the United States. I don't know. I don't see how, like, why that is even relevant to bring up when you're onboarding big investors. Like, what kind of conversation you actually had? Did you talk to a big investor and they're just like, what, you know, like what happened with the big investor you're talking to? Like, what were you trying to pitch them on, and why didn't it go well?
When
Did you have a conversation?
Yes. When you talk to a big investor, you have to let them know about the threats and the risks. And people will confirm this in the chat. You have to. So you have to mention it. Now, if you don't mention it, they'll find out anyway because they do.
Are you a financial advisor?
Am I a financial advisor?
I mean, I'm just thinking like how you pitch to like investors, right? Like it sounds like you have to tell them the risk. You said that, so it's like, is that based on like your license or something?
Well, I mean, I started. I was in a management development program in the bank when I was 18, before I went back to university and things. I mean, so I've had exposure into these things, but I mean, I just know that's the process. I mean, you seem incredulous about it. It's kind of weird. It's kind of like
You seem like you go into it being like, listen, red notice on this guy, but you need to buy it. Sign on the dotted line. Buy it here. I'll show you how to set up MetaMask. I don't know. I just don't think that's the pitch going in to sell people on PulseChain.
Yeah, no, but basically is the pitch. You have to tell them. You have to tell them.
You may be more experienced with big investors than me. Then that's not something I would start with. That's not my strategy.
But then you'll never get another meeting with them. The thing with a big investor is it's having them in your black book and having the ability to call on them. If you don't tell them about something, then they will never do business with you again.
Just to be clear,
I'm
not saying you shouldn't tell them. I'm just saying like there's a way to say it where it's like it's not serious.
Well, you're the one. You're the one making fun saying the MetaMask and things. I mean, I wouldn't even use MetaMask.
How would you onboard them? What's your wallet of choice? Or would you get them at centralized exchange? But we don't have any listings, so that is a hard onboarding point for that.
I like KG's Internet Money Wallet.
Shout out to KG.
Shout out to KG.
Yeah,
that's one I'd use.
Yeah, Dipcatcher, what if they ask you? What about when they ask you that? Yeah, I mean, again, I'm not saying you shouldn't tell them. I'm just saying, like, It seems like Seven's position, correct me if I'm wrong, is like that will come up, that will kill the entire thing, and that there is no more discussion. And like that's something you should definitely talk about the founder. To me, it's like there is PulseChain, and yeah, there is a guy who started it who hasn't been around for a while. So I don't know. Like, I'm not today. If I'm going to pitch somebody, I'm not going to be like pitching them on Richard Hart as much as the principles in the ecosystem and this decentralized community that we're all running validators to manage and do and build and permissionlessly and all this stuff too.
Well, even your buddy Dipcatcher, thanks, buddy. Even he's agreeing with me. So you got to tell them, and but yeah, so that's how it is.
Yeah. Again, not saying you shouldn't tell them. I'm just saying like that. You're bringing that up as that is, well, first of all, the premise that we need the big investors for PulseChain to do, the massive X's. Like I'm challenging that part, and also challenging the part that every big investor you talk, again, I don't know, when you say big investor too, it's one of those things. It's PulseChain, it's Hex. These don't need founders. Like again, it's not a good thing. It's not something that I just don't think they need this founder conversation.
Yeah, you're talking about the new people. You're talking about the new people coming in. They like a founder. We all like a founder. That's why we're in Hex. We liked Richard Hart.
Tell him Vitalik founded PulseChain. How about that? He did. He founded the pre-fork.
He's got Dipcatcher will agree. He's got me trying to lie to the founders, to the investors again. You can't lie to them. And so if you don't tell them, they will research and find out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and again, so I want this to turn into like an onboarding discussion, but yeah, you can certainly frame it as, okay, once you sell them on, again, I don't want to turn into like how to do a sales pitch, but it's like, once you hit them with all here's the low price, here's the plan that you can come up with something to be like, oh, here's the ecosystem, here's the community, look at all these streams, look at all these people, how all this stuff. And they'd be like, yeah, colorful founder, genius billionaire guy. However, there is some legal stuff, just got SEC. He just beat the SEC. I'd probably start with that. He just beat the SEC. There's this other Finnish tax case thing. I mean, there's a lot of ways to do it. It's not just like, tell me no right now because red notice. Like I'm just saying there's some ways to do it.
Yeah. And maybe an answer is when you're getting a big investor interested, you say, listen, why didn't you talk to this really nice guy called RHMax who's
RHMax.tv, send him over here.
Yeah, and he'll explain why you don't need to worry about it. But I mean, I'm just saying. So let's go to. I think we've had.
I just imagine doing a stream of like me talking to like just people like the big investors. They come on one at a time, and I'm like telling them like why the red notice isn't a big deal. It actually sounds pretty funny. Like I could do it, but
it'd be fun. So what everyone wants to know is what's going to happen from here, right? So what's going to happen here, thanks for asking, is I think it's extraordinary because Kyle Dupes from Crypto Banter, who's been very, very bearish all through the last few months and telling people to get out of crypto, is now saying that Bitcoin's going to go to 130,000 in the next few days. And then literally a couple of hours ago, his boss, Ran Nuna, streamed and said we're going to 140 or 150. This is mind-blowing because if you remember in the bear market, we would have all have been absolutely delighted with that. I think we were hoping for about 130. Most people were thinking, oh, if we get 130 out this cycle, well, Kyle Dupes is saying we're going to 130 in the next 10 days. Ran Nuna is saying 140, 150. I can't remember if it was 140 or 150. It's phenomenal. Now, Ethereum is going to start really waking up. In the next 10 days, it's going to go to 4K. What's going to happen then is PulseChain, this is what you want to know, guys. It's going to get up to about 4 zeros and an 8 and PLSX as well, because there's a fantastic competition between PLSX and PLS now. They're both going to run up to 4 8s, 4 zeros and an 8 in the next 10 days, 14 days. We're then going to get stuck there. We're going to get stuck there because we've got stuck there twice already. We're going to get stuck there because of the red notice. We're going to get stuck there because Rackham and all his Arab friends can sell on a 3x at 4 zeros and an 8. We're going to get stuck there because they're going to look at these other cryptos that Crypto 7's been talking about, like artificial superintelligence and Echelon Prime and Superverse and all sorts of others, which are going up loads like a scolded cat. They're going up loads. And they're going to say, oh, I might take some profit now and get into these instead. So without the red notice, we're going to get stuck at 4 zeros and an 8. I don't know how long we're going to get stuck at 4 zeros and 8, probably 3 or 4 weeks. Then we're going to finally get to SAC. Then we're going to play around with SAC. So without the red notice resolved, we're all going to get a 10x, I think, in this cycle from here, if we're lucky. With the red notice resolved, I think you can add a 0 to that. I think we could 100x from here.
Only 100x?
Yeah, 100x
Baby
is a
gains.
lot, guys. Yeah, 100. Yeah, 100. Yeah, I know.
Baby
Sorry,
gains.
100x is fabulous. No, 100x is life changing. If you don't think 100x is life changing,
ain't life changing.
Well, I got 56x in Ethereum, and that was life changing. If you don't think that 100x is life changing, then you're not uncomfortably exposed. You know, as I say, if you go to the Maldives with your girlfriend or wife this year instead of investing in Hex and PulseChain, you've got your priorities all wrong, and you're a failure. You need to be putting that $20,000 into Hex and PulseChain now, because I wouldn't be hoping for more than 100x. 100x is phenomenal because most cryptos are only going to do between 3 to 10x now for the rest of the cycle. Things like Sui 10x maybe. Things like Solana 5x, things like Ethereum 3x. You're not going to get these gains anywhere. I mean, other than Hex and PulseChain, but you're not going to get thousands of X's. 100x is amazing. You know, 100x is amazing. If you've got 10,000 invested, if you've got 10,000, well, do it the other way.
Say not you've got big investors though. 10,000x sounds like a scam. 1,000x sounds like it's too risky. 100x seems like it's impossible. You sell them on a 10x, maybe that's a big investor. Actually, yeah, when you talk to big investors, how do you what kind of, do you tell them 10x? Like, what do you tell them?
Yes, I tell them 10x. I tell them 10x, and they say, look, if you can get me a 10x. What they say to me, and what the last one said to me that I talked about Hex and PulseChain, they said, don't talk to me about a crypto with a founder with a red notice. Talk to me again about Sui. You said Sui can do a 10x.
Sui. Now you can tell them Sui had a big hack.
Sui's had a hack. Where is the price?
Remember PulseChain?
I'm quite lucky because I sold quite a lot of Sui just to, because I have a lifestyle to maintain. I sold quite a lot of Sui, never sold a core coin. I sold quite a lot of Sui recently, so it's dumped. Oh, it's fine, buddy. It's down less than 1% today.
Would you call it a buying opportunity?
Yes. Yes. Well, I think that's what everyone's onto. So there may be another dip, and there may be another dip. That's what's happening. Everyone's on that idea. Oh, I'm going to buy Sui while it's cheap. Well, it's not really. It's not gone down at all. It may go down. It may turn out to be worse than people think. It may be that people lose confidence. We talked about big investors. Raoul Powell has sold all his Solana to go all in on Sui, so he's going to be upset. Raoul Powell, the ex Goldman Sachs guy.
Oh yeah, the irresponsibly long Ethereum guy from 2017.
Yeah.
Been around a while too. I've been watching some crypto. Not much main influencers, anyways. These days, they tend to not cover PulseChain yet. So mostly in the community these days. So just I feel like we've hit all of the key points.
Sorry, I had a technical thing there which I've resolved. If I looked a bit absent for a moment.
Okay, no worries. So yeah, I feel like we've hit a lot of the main points. It still seems like you came over. You came over to the side of, you think even without Interpol getting dismissed, we can pump past SAC. Is that right?
Yes, because like I say, I'm not here to give bad news. I'm here giving good news, and the good news is that we are going to pump. What I'm saying is that we're going to pump a lot more than people realize when the red notice is removed, and that's not a bad thing to say, is it? I'm saying that. Yes,
I mean,
yes.
It's either priced in or we pump. Like, I guess that's the take. But, yeah.
Honestly, we're gonna pump like crazy. Or write to me at Crypto7 for a full refund. I promise you guys, we're gonna go nuts. I'm telling you now. It's gonna be the gift that keeps giving. Then Rich is gonna stream. Then he's gonna be on Altcoin Daily, and Ivan on Tech, and everyone.
Would be crushing his heroes, or would be humble Richard? What do you think?
It's somewhere in between. I'd hope. I don't. Nobody likes humble, you know. And we don't want excessively arrogant. I think somewhere in between. What do you think? What do you think, buddy?
Probably somewhere through there. I think he'll still be super confident, but also, we won't. It's hard because we've seen such a spectrum. We've seen 8-hour live stream in a lean back chair in the dark, Richard, no pee breaks. And we've seen walking down a Louis Vuitton, music on the short, just outrage marketing, Richard. So I guess what everyone's, maybe the crowd's wrong. Maybe he comes back and he is super confident, Richard. I don't think we're going to see Bitcoin Maxi, Richard. I guess we'll see. I'll say that.
Oh, no. I mean, the thing is, it's because I used to do sport, and if you're winning, it's okay to be arrogant. If you're winning, it's okay to have an entourage. If you're not winning, you can't have people walking around with you as you walk around the paddock. You can't be too arrogant. So nobody will mind a bit of arrogance if we're doing really, really well, which I think we will. The red notice is going to get lifted, and but yeah, that's where I'm at with it. I think people will find that useful. Like I say, I think the next 3 months are going to be crazy. I think we're in disbelief. We're at an even higher price than we were in December, but in December we were heated. We were in extreme greed. We were due a cool off. This time, we're barely in greed. People are barely starting to look for Bitcoin on Google. We've got a huge runway of fat gains, and if we can get the red notice resolved, expect 100x. Without the red notice resolved, expect a 10x. That's the Crypto7 prediction. Let's see how accurate I am on that. And but that's where I'm at with it. That's what I'm expecting.
Do you think 2025 is the year of PulseChain? You think it gets dismissed, go to the moon? Like, what gets you excited about this year for FRAX and PulseChain?
I do think that, because I think, well, obviously we've beaten the SEC in court, and that strengthens our case on Interpol. But the Interpol is completely terrifying to people. And it doesn't matter that we all know it's a Fugazi. It doesn't matter that we all know it's a Finnish government that wanted to balance their books. It's terrifying. You might as well tell people he's into CP. I mean, it's all as bad as it gets. And so, it is going to hold us back a lot. So that's where I'm at with it.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think it's holding back our number one marketer, and the guy who he goes out, he starts throwing punches. He starts, like you talked about, getting on Altcoin Daily or Crypto Banter. I know, because we see Ivan on Tech, we see Crypto Banter. They are paying attention to PulseChain. Whenever there's not a lot of significant events these days, but when there are, they cover them on the show. So, and did they sack for them? Is that public? Did they say they sacked for them? I can't remember.
Yeah. Crypto Banter sacked, and Ivan sacked. They both sacked, yeah.
Yeah, so there you go. Like, why wouldn't, when there is something to cover, and especially Richard coming back, it's like the renaissance of DeFi or crypto in a sense. Like, at least for us, that's the way we look at it. I think they know the truth about him too, and they like him a lot, and they want him to succeed, and they're aligned to if they got some money into it, right?
Yeah, I noticed that the Crypto Banter was quick to pivot. They seemed to think he's coming back, and that was very nice. And Ran Nuna from Crypto Banter reported Richard doing the video as Richard's back, which was very generous. And I think he's pitching to be the first to stream. I think that's very much where he's going with that, which would be fine. I mean, I don't care. I mean, if he went on your show, you'd get 100,000 views. If he went on my show, you get 100,000 views. And if he went on Rand Nuna's show, you get 100,000 views. It doesn't matter where he goes anyway. But I mean, I think
Interesting point.
Yeah, I think I think that's right. And it's interesting because these people are very, very crypto savvy. They're very intuitive. And so they're very, very quick so Crypto Banter were very quick to AI agents. They were very quick to the meme coins last year. And now they're very quick to sort of reading the road, and they're thinking. And so it is fascinating. I'm glad you mentioned that somebody, because I don't like Rand Nuna from Crypto Banter, but he's got great gut instinct. He's been in crypto even longer than me. He knows crypto inside out, and for some reason he's vibing that Richard's coming back, because that's what he's saying. I mean, it was interesting, very much so. I'm glad you raised that.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. I mean, this place is
I'm really excited.
Yeah.
I'm really excited. I think people don't realize how good it's going to be. Bit weird today, as I say. Somebody is trying to get people looking over at PDI instead of buying the cores, but it's an inevitability that as Ethereum goes up.
Stupid PDI.
Stupid PDI. Stupid. You know, there's no girls in PDI. You know. Do you know what does that tell you?
I was just quoting. Did Richard say that? I keep hearing Somi say it as if Richard said it. Did he say it? Did he actually say stupid PDI, or did he say
Richard said stupid PDI. But then Somi twists it that Richard's angry about it, but it was just saying stupid. You know, like it could have been like, oh, stupid PDI. You know, but Somi's like, he's angry about PDI now. He's called it stupid. You know, this is what I mean about the live stream just gets rid of that, because it's like that sort of interpretation. That's the caustic, like acidic interpretation that Somi wants to spin on it, you know?
Well, great. I think it was a great debate. I think the point was to bring out both positions, try to figure out, let people hear, like, you know, us talk about it. I think a lot of people are interested, worried. Some are worried more than others. And I think we had a lot of great points that hopefully be useful. And again, everyone in the chat, everyone watching, figure out whatever you think is true. Figure out whatever, you know, with this data, now that you have people talk about it, you have some things presented in front of you, figure it out. Like, you don't need anybody to spoon feed you this stuff. We can just have conversations and talk about it. So thanks for having the conversation, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me on. Some of the big American PulseChain streamers do ghost me. I think it's because they're jealous of my British accent, but you know, it was very good of you to have me on, and my surprising good looks for a middle-aged guy. You know, obviously, it was very good of you to have me on. I really enjoyed talking to you, and you know, somebody also, oh, it'd be nice to have a conversation with him. And I know I joke about, you know, you being a cure for insomnia and things, but I think you're actually a really good guy, and you know, I think you're gonna do great, and I think everyone watching is gonna do great. And so put 7 in if you think Crypto 7 won. Scotty's my favorite troll, says I had 0 points. Well, we all know that's not even believable. You see, that's a bit like saying that PDI is going to peg, buddy. You've got to be believable. If you told me
that's the analogy,
that, you know, yeah, it is a great one, isn't it? 0 points. Come on, man. Listen back. So Alan's on 7. Yeah, well, go. You shout it out. It's your show. You shout out.
I'll do Viper Styles. Max 1, 7, Alan, RHMax 1. Absolutely not sure if that's a vote. Hugh Hefner 7, Iconoclast 1. So I assume anything not 7 is me. Vansum 7, RHMax all the way. Casey.
Say 7.
Max 1, RHMax 0. 7, RHMax 3-5, Max 1. A lot of zeros. Scotty, I'm only going to count one of these though. Yeah. Max.
Scotty's my biggest fan, isn't he?
Yeah. 4.
It's pretty even, isn't it?
I don't know about even. It seems like I saw a lot more maxes and non-7s, I would say.
Yeah, but we're on your show, buddy.
Feel free to do a poll. I'd like to see. I mean, again, it doesn't matter that much to me, but like, why not? Like, if you want to do a poll. Dipcatcher said you both lost. I like it.
I like that.
All right. Well, again,
keep eating those oranges, man.
The oranges. Yeah. All right. Well, that's everyone. That's
I
all we got
really
for you
enjoyed
today.
it. I really enjoyed it. Thank you very much. And I saw more sevens personally, and I thought it was surprising considering I'm on your show. Yeah.
That would be surprising. That would be, yeah. All right, everyone. That's all we got for you today. Sci-Vibe and 5555. We are out.
Peace.